Anybody who's a victim or survivor come forward when they know nothing is going to happen? And why would an abuser stop doing that if they know there are no consequences?
Give them a peace bond. That is their golden ticket to say, ha ha ha, I won. And they act on it. And we have to do it now. The cost to move away out of violence is about $30,000. Let's talk about the funds that it takes. It's without my parental support and my family unit and the resources that I was privileged to be born to have, I would not have been able to move to America to get away from him, and I probably would be dead.
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics. Oh, yeah. Hey gang, just Aaron right here, Canadian Looney. We're going for a stroll and we're gonna talk about the video we're about to watch, which I think is some pretty heavy stuff. There's an issue in Canada, it would seem, and here in committee it's being investigated. You can hear all the birds rustling in the leaves. It's pretty sweet. Everybody has a CRV. We're gonna go out here just to show you where we're going. Gonna walk out. This is the view, guys. We've got that land side. This.
In women's shelters, but we hear regularly it's not enough. How would you like to see women's shelters funded across the country?
Women's shelters need funding that is both for capital expenses, to renew their infrastructure, to build more shelters, have more shelter beds. We need to increase the number of second stage shelters, the transitional housing for longer term stays. Most shelters, 64%, have not received any kind of annual cost of living increase from their main government funder. 74% of shelters say that insufficient funding is a major challenge for them to house the women who need the work that need the services they offer. So all levels of government need to get together and fund shelters adequately.
Thank you. Thank you, MP Hepner. Next, we'll begin our third round. MP Ferrari, you have the floor for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you to our witnesses. We certainly wouldn't want to bring you here and tell you how the legal system is working when it's clearly not, which is what it just feels like a Liberal member just did to you. And I think that's the whole point, right? Like it comes back to the same point that I asked you. Why would a woman or anybody who's a victim or survivor come forward when they know nothing is going to happen? And why would an abuser stop doing that if they know there are no consequences? This is all law. This is everything you've said today, Kate, is to the point of there is no consequences in this current justice system. There is nothing in place to stop someone from actively going out and murdering someone in broad daylight. In broad daylight. Like, I don't know how more serious we can get today, folks. Like, so to sit across the way with the Liberal member and to say, oh, well, let's go into the weeds here. C-75 is doing a great job. It's not. It's not working. People are dying. Let's cut it and do what is happening here. C-75 was supposed to make it better, and it's made it worse. The stats are here. That is cold, hard facts. So I guess I would turn to Miss Alexander again. And I think one of the things people don't understand is Jordan's rule. How could you have somebody who literally bludgeoned you, in your words, almost to death? You have video evidence. He's out on bail for $500 the very next day. Is that the only time he's ever served?
Yes.
and it is thrown out. The entire case is thrown out, and this guy is walking free. Explain that to people at home, because it makes no sense.
Nobody understands it, because I have spoken to judges and prosecutors in America, and they say, what are they doing? What are you guys doing up there? It's a national embarrassment. And the criminals know this, which is why they park themselves in this country, which is why Canada is 4th in the world for human trafficking, which is why we're seeing such staggering numbers into the hundreds of percent on increase. And all these stats are people. All these stats are people like me, are your sisters, or your siblings, are your relatives, are your neighbors. And currently and for so long, there has been no justice system in this country. And I'm really sick and tired of having to repeat this when it's so blatantly obvious, because I am losing a sibling, a survivor sibling, every single day. I can't handle the phone calls anymore. The text messages, the Facebooks, the emails, hey, she's dead, or hey, he's free, or hey, he's out on bail, or I have 38 charges against him, but he gets permission to see my child, and he just raped me and impregnated me again. I'm not kidding you. This is what's happening in this country. They keep doing it because there's nowhere, you don't put them in custody.
There's no consequences. I want to ask the most dangerous time. You know, there was a bill put forward by a senator whose own daughter was murdered, and it was Bill S-205, and it was that vulnerable period of when the abuser is charged and is then let out on bail or a surety. That is, would you say, Ms. Walker, the most vulnerable time for violence and potential murder to happen?
I think the most dangerous time for that to happen is at the time of separation. But yes, the criminal justice system's failure also impacts the ability of women to seek help. So when you have a situation where somebody has been incarcerated, you know, overnight or whatever it is, and then is released, even if they're released with an order that they have to stay, you know, 25 meters away or whatever it is, we have abusers that sit on that line of the 25 meters and watch the woman come and go. She is never safe, and a peace bond is not even worth the paper it's written on. So and this is what women and girls are facing.
And that bill, they wanted to give the authority to the survivor so that she or whomever, men are victims of this as well. Let's point that out. But they took that out of the bill, that they would be notified, that they had the power and authority to water that down. And so these are the kinds of things that you have to change the law if you are going to change this. The last point I'll make is about incarceration. And, you know, we have these crazy stories of, you know, these children witnessing this violence. What are those children going to go on to do? They're going to go on to have violent relationships. Let's just call a spade a spade. If we don't have programming in place in the jails to support men to understand why they are violent, they can't be walking free because they're not capable of that. But if we don't fix our inside of our prison systems, we are going to have a merry-go-round.
Thank you. Thank you, MP Ferrari. Next, I'd like to welcome Pam. MP Damoff, you have the floor for 5 minutes. Thank you.
Chair. And I think everybody, witnesses and all members of this committee, agree that what's happening is not working. The level of femicides is atrocious. I was on this committee for 4 years when I first got elected, and we're still talking about it. One of the things actually that we recommended as a committee early on was a national action plan, and we didn't think we were going to get it. I think Mark Saray might have been on the committee with me at the time. We've now got $500 billion that's been invested in that national action plan, but the problem is huge. I have a request for our analysts, if I could, because a number of things have come up. And look, I don't want to point fingers at federal or provincial or municipal, because municipal is responsible for the police services who don't act properly either.
we'll try to include the walks a little more. Consider subscribing. I could use some new subscribers. Love my viewers, but there's so many people that watch and they don't subscribe, and I don't know why. We're here, we work hard, this is what we do. Trying to get the word out. I don't really have a side in this, like I don't have a horse in this race or a dog in this race, but I do care about Canadians, and we're getting duped by this government, and the media doesn't really do a very honest job of showing things in context. We do that on this channel.
Give them a peace bond. That is their golden ticket to say, ha ha ha, I won. And they act on it. And we have to do it now. The cost to move away out of violence is about $30,000. Let's talk about the funds that it takes. It's without my parental support and my family unit and the resources that I was privileged to be born to have, I would not have been able to move to America, to get away from him, and I probably would be dead.